Hey, this is GP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's March 13th, 2026. Looking out at Goat Peak in the boulders yesterday. Pretty windy and wet out there. Definitely need some red wax. If you're still enjoying this broadcast, we ask you to do a one-time donation, or even better, sign up for that monthly sustaining membership. Today is going to be mostly sunny in the Wood River side, and then light snow showers to the north and west. We're going to continue with the winds over the next few days. That doesn't go down till Sunday. We are supposed to have pretty intense winds pretty much today and tomorrow, but I think the lower elevations are going to feel more of that wind on Saturday. We also are going to have an intense snowstorm in the Sawtooths tomorrow, and Sunday is going to be much cooler with mostly sunny skies. And we're just on a temperature roller coaster. It's going to be up and down, and then up, 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 up for next week. Looking around at the webcams, Galena Lodge hasn't really picked up too much. It looks like it is probably hovering with temperatures around freezing, above freezing. This is at Galena Summit, so this is about 1,500 feet higher, and it's just under freezing up there. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So the snow we just picked up last night, looking out at the weather stations, Vienna had about a half inch, 3 inches. Bench picked up about 3 inches. The lower snowtail sites are all looking pretty like wet and heavy. A little outlier there with Dollarhide picking up 9 inches of snow. Those western mountains are getting hit harder than the valleys. Looking at the satellite reel this morning, you can see there is this band of moisture that is continuing to spread over our head. This is taking too long. The winds are the big story, at least for today. Let me back this up a little bit. So this morning we'll see increased winds throughout the day. You see some gusts up in the Sawtooths are going to get to 50, and then maybe even close to 60 if you're in the Pioneers or Boulders. And let me zoom in here a little bit more. And then as we go into Saturday morning, when that cold front comes through, you can see the winds pick up quite a bit by midday when that cold front comes overhead. So you can see some spots approaching 60 miles per hour, well over 50 for a lot of spots. Even this is kind of right around 2 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to come pretty hot and heavy through the Wood River Valley with some pretty strong gusts. So we'll see how that goes with knocking down trees. And then you could see that cold front just at the end of her model run is clearing out, and it's going to be less windy. Back to a little bit more of our normal pattern. Looking at her for reflective model, how much water or how much snow we're going to get out of this. It doesn't really shows a little bit for this morning, but today's not really going to be the day that we see the snow. It's going to be early tomorrow morning. You can start to see that band right before sunrise hitting the western mountains of the western Smokies and Sawtooths, and that just kind of like hovers around us to the Wood River Valley and Stanley side. It just seems like it does this little swirl out here and doesn't hit the valley as hard. Maybe a little bit when that cold front comes through, but most of that precip is going to be happening in the western parts of the mountains. Looking at breakdown, 12-hour breakdown from National Weather Service out of Pocatello tonight, a couple of inches in the Sawtooths, a little bit more to the north, and those are kind of the late end of tomorrow or tonight. It really kicks up with that cold front that comes through pretty hot and heavy. And you can see some areas of 6 to 8 inches are pretty insane looking at the MBM model of how fast the snow rates are going to be tomorrow. We are currently getting hit with an AR3 on the coastal storm, and that's pretty much just shooting over the top of us right now. And it's going to be like that over the next 12 to 24 hours. Looking at snow amounts, see if I can drag this down here a little bit so we can see the amounts too. This is looking through Saturday. So you can see Moores Creek picking up 8 inches. This is probably Pine and Featherville area picking up 9. But pretty big gap here in the Woodford Valley, just 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 2 inches. And up in the Sawtooths, about 16, 18 inches in the high spots. And as you drift off down in the lower elevation, that changes pretty dramatically down to 4 inches maybe. This is looking at the valley floor for in Haley. You can see it's going to be in the mid 50s today, drop down to the upper 40s to the lower 40s for Sunday after that cold front comes through, and then we have this huge 20-degree jump for Monday. So that's going to be pretty crazy, going from winter back to spring and then over into summer for the low 70s. Wow, low 70s in March. Here we go. And that is to thank for this high pressure ridge that's going to build. So play this out. This is that strong cold front that's going to come through Saturday. After the wake of that, this high pressure builds over California, and this is going to park here for about a week. So we're still kind of in the southern end of the flow of the jet stream. So we might get clouds throughout the week, but it is, man, those temperatures, we're getting a lot of southwest flow coming out of there, and that's going to increase those temperatures with that high pressure below us. And it doesn't look like that breaks down till next weekend. I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to show you the MBM models for Bench Lakes. This is lower elevation, but you can see we go from tonight into tomorrow, 10 inches by 2 p.m. Looks like the cold front's kind of over with by 2 p.m. And then if we go up in elevation to the top of Williams Peak, the beginning to end is going to be 16 inches, so maybe even 17. Dropping down a ton, a hammer of snow right there over a quick 12-hour period. And most of it's going to be coming in the 6-hour period between 6 a.m. and noon. So it looks like by 2 p.m., most of this will be gone, cleared out pretty fast with how fast those cold fronts run through. All right, and this is the high pressure of death here, just really above normal temperatures here for much of the West. And yeah, I'm actually going to Florida next week, and it looks like we're going to be below normal for there. So maybe I'll get some winter on our spring break vacation.